more advanced way of stretching the hip flexors that I like to progress most patients towards is doing them in a lunge position. And I like this because we're able to load our whole body weight through and get a deeper stretch as well as strengthen the hip flexors. Sometimes it's not enough to just stretch the hip flexors, but we got to strengthen them at the end range of motion too. And lunging is a great way to do that. So the first progression with the standing hip flexor stretch would be a front foot elevated lunge stretch. So we're going to have a front foot elevated on a chair or a large step, and this is going to allow us to tuck our pelvis under. Now that's the big key to stretching the hip flexor, is tucking the pelvis under and squeezing this glute on the back leg, and then we can sink in it, and we should feel a nice stretch in the front of our hip. We can even put our arm overhead and hold here for time. Level 2 would be without front foot elevation. So we're just going to do normal lunge stance, tuck the hips under. We don't want to extend the back. Tuck the hips under, squeeze the back glute, and drop into a lunge. Once again, we should feel a nice hip flexor stretch on this back leg. Level 3, this one can get pretty advanced, is a back foot elevated lunge. So we're going to get our back foot onto a chair, and then we're going to drop straight down, still staying tucked at the pelvis. And we're going to hold for time. So what I like about these lunge stretches is that it not only lengthens the hip flexor muscles, but it also strengthens them at their end range of motion, so we can hold on to these changes a bit better. So be sure to try out some of these lunge stretches starting with progression 1. And you should do about 3 sets of 20 to 60 second holds. Now if you can hit 60 seconds somewhat comfortably, then that means it's time to move on to the next progression. And these will definitely humble you quick. So definitely start with progression 1. And if you have any pre-existing knee pain, then I suggest holding on to a stick or a PVC pipe, foam roller, whatever you got laying around. And enjoy.